Sorry, my dog is pulling a really big leaf, really big branch right next to me. Maybe at one point I'll get it, I'll get smacked in the face or something like that. Yeah. Hey, and a great afternoon to you. I hope you're doing so incredibly well. You're having a really, really great week. And in today's lesson, in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the act of doing. And in this case here, it's the act of doing exactly what we feel like is right for us. It's taking a step out of all of the confinements, all of the thoughts that are preventing us from getting to the place we want to go. But in order to get there, it's usually quite a challenge. And this talk here itself is inspired by a talk I had with a client of mine last week. And in her case, she really wants to create a great change in her life. She wants to take a step out of the life that she's living right now, but she's so afraid of losing everything. At the same time, she's also very, very afraid of changing her life. There are certain dreams that she wants to pursue. There are certain things she wants to change, but what are the consequences going to be? How is my life going to be? I know exactly what I have right now, but I don't know what's waiting for me in the future. And working with her during this session here, I was so incredibly inspired by the answer she found to her question. And I asked her if it would be okay for all of us to talk about it today. And thankfully, she said yes. So therefore, this lesson here is all about exactly that. Now, once we finished the session, I came to think about my own life and also the moments in my life where I felt the exact same. These days here, I'm living here in the countryside with Ida. We're next to the ocean. We live with our lovely dogs. And to be honest with you, I've never been more happy than I am right now. But a few years back, I did not live here. I did not live here with Ida. I did not have the pleasure of being in the garden, being close to nature. In my case, I was living in the city. And nothing wrong with the city. I was living in a really, really big one in North America at the time, and I absolutely enjoyed it. But at one point, I felt like I was looking for something else. At this moment here in my life, I had been living in this city here for quite some time. And unlike most of the people living in the city, I found that I was actually looking for something different. For some reason, I don't know what it was, I began longing more for nature. I began longing more for getting outside the city. And what began as a small seed in my mind slowly began growing bigger and bigger. Now, as life would have it, I began seeing small signs, I began seeing small opportunities that was actually going to get me closer to where I wanted to go. And before I knew it, my visa for staying in Canada was actually being expired, which meant I had to go back home. Now, as I went back home, I could have done the exact same thing. I went from North America back to Denmark, and in this moment here, I could just have gone back to Copenhagen and begun teaching. But at this moment here, I took this opportunity here, and that's really one of the first messages of this story here, is to be aware of the small opportunities that are presenting itself throughout our lives. Now, in my case, it was the expired visa that lended me a good opportunity for change, but it could really be anything else. Seek out these small opportunities here and see how you can utilize them to get closer to where you want to go. In my case, once again, I felt this need here to get closer to the countryside. And at this point here, I'm searching everywhere. And I realized that in Denmark, there's actually an organic farming school. And first of all, I think farming. I've never in a million years thought I was going to study farming. But for some reason, this just called out to me. And once I began looking more into it, I realized that previously I was so confused. How am I ever going to be able to move out of the countryside, grow some vegetables, all these things here? I didn't know at all what I was going to do. But then I realized that this opportunity here would actually make me capable of not only staying at the countryside, but making the most of it. And so I took a chance there, and I packed my bags and I went all the way to this organic farming school. And what I thought initially was that once I land at this place here, I'm gonna be all alone. I thought once I begin studying this place here, it's going to be me and a lot of farming experts. But what I realized once I landed at the school was that there were so many people who felt the exact same way as me. I thought I was the only person living in the city who had this crazy idea of wanting to get outside on the countryside. But once I landed at the school, I realized I was not alone. And that's really the second takeaway of this story here, of this video, is that no matter what you think you're going through, you're never really alone. There's always a lot of people who feel the exact same way as you. And the more you can do to seek these people out, the more you're gonna increase your own inspiration. So I began studying here at the farming school, and what struck me the most at the beginning was how little I knew. I didn't know anything about driving a tractor. I didn't know anything about working the soil. I didn't know anything about nature, like biology in that sense. And there were so many new things to me that I never heard of before. But as I was here and as I was experiencing so many challenges, I decided with myself to take on the identity of a learner. I made an agreement with myself that as long as I was at this school here, I wanted to learn as much as possible. And I also quickly realized that every single time I was learning something, I usually felt very stupid. Every single time I was trying to learn something new, I was in unknown territory. And I knew that when I was in unknown territory, it just meant that I was learning something. So I had to relearn how to be a learner. I had to accept that I needed to be uncomfortable a few times in order to learn new things. And that is really the third takeaway from this story here. The more you can be comfortable being uncomfortable, the more likely you are to learn much better and actually get closer to the life that you really want. These days here, once again, I'm incredibly grateful for the life that we're living here. I'm so thankful every single day when I open up my door, I look out at the great nature that we're surrounded by. In connection to the farming school, I also met Ida. So if I take a look back at my life, it's absolutely crazy to see how life can change just because of these small decisions that we make. Beside these 3 steps here that I've focused on during this journey here, another important thing is the very first step. And in my case, my dream was to get out in the countryside, making a living out of here and being a part of nature. But for other people, for you, it can be something completely different. If you would like to share, please leave a comment below and answer this very question here. What is the very first step you need to take in order to get closer to the life that you really want? This could be something seemingly unimportant, but I'm telling you, every single step of the way is critical to the direction that you're going. So please share that in the comments below, and beside that, we have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take so great care. And now I'm gonna go for a walk with my dog here, who's going crazy about these leaves and about these sticks here. Have such a wonderful day. Take great care. Bye.